Welcome everybody to Inside AWAI. Today it's all about B2B, and we'll explain what that means if you've never heard of that phrase before. But I'm delighted to be here with Steve Slaunwhite. We're talking about booming opportunities for writers in B2B. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Pam. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, good, good.
Awesome. And the thing is, we want to tell you that B2B has been kind of a steady Eddie for a long time. A lot of things haven't changed about who the buyers are, who the decision makers are, what they need from marketers, businesses, and how those solutions are sold. But some things have kind of changed dramatically over the last couple of years. And so we
Yes.
want to bring you up to speed on all of that. So first, let me tell you a little bit about Steve so you know. Steve has, oh my gosh, he's been our B2B champion superstar educator here at AWAI for quite a while now. 25 years of writing for B2B companies. I want to say 25 plus at this point, right, Steve?
Yeah. It's been a little bit longer, but I'm embarrassed by how long it is. So
Oh,
I say
listen,
20.
I've been working in the industry for 45 years. What? Okay. I'm proud of it. Um, and you're also the author of the Everything Guide to Writing Copy, which is amazing. You've been featured in DM News, Inside Direct Mail, The Wall Street Journal, and many others. Lots of awards there, including AWAI's Copywriter of the Year. And you are the instructor. Actually, you're behind many of our programs. B2B Writing Apprentice is just one of them. So we're going to talk a lot about that at the end. But for now, let's dive into our topic. What we're going to cover together is, I know some of you already write in the B2B space, but just in case somebody's here who doesn't, I want to explain what it is with Steve, and why B2B companies need so much content written, and they don't usually have enough people on staff. So that's where we come in. They often hire outside help. The best opportunities now for B2B writers. And then fabulous B2B writing fees. What about AI these days? How does that come into play? And then tips on getting B2B clients. We have a lot of content to share with you today. So we're going to kind of whip along. But if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. And Katie Yakel is with us too. Hi, Katie. And she's in the back end to answer questions while we're presenting the content. So we're going to get going here. All right, so what exactly is B2B? Steve, I'm going to let you run the description and I'll jump in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. B2B stands for business to business. And the best analogy I can come up with is that if your local fitness club sells you a membership, that's B to consumer. That's what we're normally used to when buying as individuals. But when a fitness equipment manufacturer sells equipment to the fitness club, that's business to business. So that's what it is. Businesses selling products and services to other businesses. And there are business to business products that are manufactured or sold through wholesale or even sold online. You can buy photocopying equipment online. But there's also businesses that sell services to other businesses. That's a huge sector in business to business. Training, recruiting, accounting, legal services, executive coaching, business coaching. I worked for years with a client who was in the office cleaning business, right? They had office cleaning franchises across the country. So office cleaning, a service. And there's also a third category of B2B, and that's software and apps. For every software that you've ever used, like if you ever use Zoom, for example, there's an enterprise version of that, a B2B version of that they sell. And there's also software and apps that are just for businesses, right? And that's a huge, fast-growing, dynamic industry. Some B2B copywriters specialize just writing for app developers, right? The SaaS, software as a service.
Right.
So
I've
those are the
written,
types of Go ahead,
I,
Pam.
I was going to say, I've written, I'm not a tech expert, but for B2B agencies, I've written some tech copy. And one of them was, this is so crazy. There's so many projects out there, you guys. A micro website just for training salespeople selling cloud solutions to giant companies. Talk about a narrow, specific project, but I had to quickly learn what they needed to know to be able to sell cloud solutions. Ah, like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
what was that an app or a
No,
training company?
no, it was a mini website, like a training site that was, I guess they call it a microsite that was just for,
Okay.
mhm.
Wow,
Might be an
wow.
app
There you go.
now.
There you go. So that's B2B, right?
Yeah.
And there are millions of these companies out there. The latest statistics that I could come up with, there's about 1.3 million companies in the United States that are business to business that have over $1 million in sales or 10 plus employees. So that seems to be the level that a company will get to before they're able to hire freelancers. They have $1 million in sales, or or they have 10 or more employees. Then they're big enough, have big enough marketing budgets to hire freelancers. So that level becomes a pretty good prospect for you as a writer. And if you want to write for really big companies,
Yeah.
there's over 200,000 companies that have over 100 employees just in the United States. And don't forget, you can write for companies anywhere in the world. I've written for companies that were located in Hong Kong, Britain, Australia,
Yep.
so you can write for any company in the world. So there, you'll never run out of potential clients in the
Well, and I
B2B
just
space.
want to say something about the little guys. There are small companies in your town right now. I've been writing for my accountant for almost 30 years, and it's a local accounting firm. They only have, I think, 10 or 12 employees. They're very small, but they understand that their website needs to be appealing to their local potential clients. And they have a newsletter every quarter, and they have other stuff they send out, and I'm helping them with that in trade for them doing my taxes because I don't do taxes. So don't overlook the local businesses that get the value of marketing and understand what you can bring to the table for them too. I mean, even though the sweet spot might be the bigger companies, you can get you can start out locally and do quite well too. If I
Oh
wanted
yeah, one of my longest clients, longest term clients, so I've worked with them for over 15 or 16 years, started off as a small company, I think 10 or 12 employees, and they specialize in newsletters for real estate agents. And they grew over the years, became like a 30 plus employee company. But I mean, for many years, I was doing 30, 40, $50,000 worth of business with them every year until they eventually sold just a couple of years ago. So
yeah,
yeah, some of these small companies can be just sweethearts of companies. Yeah,
yeah,
really good clients.
and they don't have anybody on staff that can write at all. And my
Appreciate the help. Yeah,
I've said so
yeah.
many times my accountant doesn't know anything about marketing. He'll say, "What's a web page again?" So I love him for that. That's where I come in. Um, so lots of
Yeah,
content. My goodness.
yeah. Like there's lots of companies, but these companies produce a lot of copy and content to help sell their products and services. I'll give you an example. I came across this Instagram ad from Slack. Slack is that project management team collaboration software a lot of companies use. Slack HQ. And you look at it at first glance, you think, okay, not a lot of copy there. But if you really follow this as part of a campaign, you'll notice at the bottom it says read our report on the latest. So they're offering a free report. So this is an Instagram ad. And if you click on it and kind of follow the deliverables, all the content they give you, if you can go to the next slide, Pam,
Yep.
as I did, you can see that there's probably many versions of this ad written for Instagram, also a different version for LinkedIn. And it's not just the ad, the landing pages. There was the follow-up email campaign that they did, and also the free report. It's a 24-page free report. You can see some pages there on the bottom of the slide. So there are, dozens and dozens of pages of copy and content that needed to be written just for that one campaign.
That's
So B2B companies do this all the time. They produce a lot of content to help sell their products and services. And
and what's
also,
inter- oh, sorry,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Pam.
I was just going to say what's interesting is I've worked for big companies, and so Slack may have some different campaigns in a year, or a bigger company may have different divisions selling different products under their umbrella, and each division is doing many campaigns. So it's to me one of the most exciting areas to write and for opportunity, because they're not going to be slowing down. They need to keep selling and growing. So it's just never ending. I just love that about B2B.
Yeah, they really need good content to help sell their products and services. The good news is they tend to have robust budgets, right? even with the last year where things have been turbulent, I mean, budgets have gone down a little bit in B2B. By gone down, I mean they're not growing as fast, but they're still growing, right? Here is some statistics from um, marketing budgets for B2B companies in 2025. And you'll notice there, if you look closely, companies that are going to decrease their budget, they're saying 8% are going to decrease their budget. Now, well over three-quarters of companies are increasing their budget this year. So you see that every year at B2B companies. Budgets are always constantly going up. Now, they've gone up at a slower rate this year, but they're still gone up, right? So when budgets increase, B2B companies have money to spend on marketing for freelancers for help to get the best job done. So the money's there, which is great. The demand there and the money's there. But here's a caveat. It's important, big change from this year compared to other years, is that more than ever before, B2B marketing spending is being scrutinized. Marketing directors are under a lot of pressure to get true bottom line results. And that usually goes in three categories: branding and brand awareness, right? Branding and positioning, lead generation, generating leads, generating sales leads for the sales team, and generating sales. But that's good news for B2B writers. If you can position yourself as the kind of writer that can help them write Instagram ads, landing pages, email campaigns that can help them generate bottom line results, leads and sales. This is what they're under pressure to achieve this year. So you can be a resource that they can count on.
Well,
Right.
and I happen to know, because I've been in B2B for 152 years, is that a lot of in-house teams, and you can vouch for this too, Steve, they aren't trained necessarily to get results. They do a lot of branding kind of work. And I'm not going to knock them, but we are the ones who really get trained on results driving B2B content and copy. And so I just love that for us freelancers, because we can focus on that more, where I've been in-house at corporate environments and it's so darn busy that the training comes sort of secondary. And so they do what they think they know will work. They test things sometimes, but like when I worked in a corporate company, I raised my hand and said, nobody here is really doing measurable marketing. Like, we're not sending out things to veterinary practices and then measuring the results. So I joined AWAI. I learned all about writing for response. And then we started doing some direct mail that got actual responses that we could measure. So many companies aren't still doing that. So they need people like us who get it and come in and help. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I see that all the time with B2B companies that I deal with. They have marketing team. Some marketers are really good, and they are just like you, Pam, which is great. But a lot of B2B marketers, they're good at running marketing. They're good at, buying media, like they know how to buy an Instagram ad and kind of put it together. But as far as creating the messaging and writing the content in a way that's persuasive, in a way that maximizes the likelihood of getting a response and generating leads, they're not really trained on that. It's a bit of a mystery to them. So if you are, right, you can be a really good resource for them. You can be someone they can count on for that kind of thing. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now, why do B2B companies need so much content written? Like, why so much
I'm
content?
going to walk through a scenario. I love this Steve scenario.
Yeah. So let me walk you through a scenario. Let's say that you are a manufacturer, you're a pump manufacturer, and you need to hire a sales trainer to help train your sales team on how to sell your pumps. How are you going to do that? You're going to go online, you're going to look around, and are you going to come across, let's see the next slide here.
Yeah.
Are you going to come across a website of a sales training company and go, oh, this is good. They sell sales training, $37,000. I'm going to push that buy now button and spend $37,000 in sales training. No, you're not, right? It's a much longer conversation, much longer process, a much longer road to the sale, right? And B2B companies, B2B buyers tend to take 2, 3, 4 months, sometimes up to a year to make that buying decision. And along the way, There's a lot of connections, a lot of touch points, a lot of conversations, and a lot of content used along the way. Emails, ads, web pages, landing pages, articles, newsletters, trade show materials, ebooks. We saw that lead generating campaign with the Instagram ad for Slack with an ebook. Social media galore. Social media has really grown this year. White papers, videos has really grown. It just goes on and on. The amount of content they need to turn a B2B prospect along that buying journey to finally making a purchase, right? So content plays a big role. Content fuels the buyer's journey. And one thing that B2B marketers agree on is that the better their copy and content is, the better results they're going to get. Remember, they're under pressure to get results, particularly this year. So the better the content, the better results. Here's another survey result from that report from Marketing Profs and the Content Marketing Institute. They asked, a couple of thousand marketing directors of B2B companies, thinking about your best campaigns, thinking about your content that really got you results. What are the reasons for that? And look at number 2. The reasons our content did well is because we produce high quality content, right? High quality content. So that they know that the better the content is, the better the results are going to be, right? And who can help them with that? Well, it's us. We that's what we do, right? That's what we can offer. That's what we can bring to the table. We can help you get that better copy, better content, so you can get better results in terms of leads, in terms of sales. So just a quick summary here. The marketing budgets, B2B companies, still growing, even this year, still growing. The long sales journey means there's a lot of content needed, needs to be written in order to make a sale. B2B marketers are under pressure to get results, but the way they can get results is with better content, and that's what we do, right? B2B marketers know this. It's not a mystery to them. They know better content means better results. So we can offer that. We're going to be of value, right? And that's why there's such a great opportunity for B2B writers. So that's what it is in the opportunity in a nutshell. But what I'd like to do now, with Pam's help, is just to go through some of what I think are the best opportunities for B2B writers in 2025, and kind of help you.
I want to say,
yeah, go ahead.
We've been looking at there are probably, oh gosh, I read something recently that said how to ace 120 different marketing channels. And I'm like, oh my gosh, who has time to do that? And then I've looked at study results about what's working the most. So Steve and I got together and talked, and like, what are the top ones? Because boy, you could write a bunch of different projects, but what are
Yeah,
the ones?
we could write a book on the top 100 opportunities in B2B
Yeah.
B2B writing. But I wanted to give you a sense of the top ones. And some of these are broader categories too, because there may be 50 niche opportunities under this one category. Like our first one I want to talk about is lead generation. B2B companies, B2B marketers are under pressure to generate leads. That's what they do. Robin Rees is we said she's a former B2B marketing director turned AWAI trained copywriter. She's still a very senior B2B marketing strategist these days, but an AWAI trained copywriter. And she said to me a couple of years ago, when I said, what do B2B marketers, what do they think about? What are they worried about? She goes, leads, leads, leads. That's it. We're always thinking about leads. How do we generate more leads, right? So that's a high need.
Yeah, I can give you an
Yeah.
example. So I'm in Maine, and there's a Maine ad agency that I'm friendly with and work with occasionally, and they have a very specific medical malpractice insurance client who hadn't updated their website in 10 years. And so
Wow.
I was asked to come on board and help them update their website, which was a blast. But the main mission of everything I did was to help the salespeople get leads, because hospitals, private medical practices, they all need insurance, malpractice insurance. And there are lots of players in that market. So this mission of everything I wrote was about getting leads that the salespeople that could then follow up with. So we did a free report and we did other things. We did a comparison chart, you know, with others, you get this, but with us, you get dedicated real people answering the phone, all these ways that we set this client apart. And the whole mission was simply to get them to sign up for a demo, or I think it was sign up for a call from a sales rep to walk through a personal demonstration. Leads. I'm telling you, if you ask anybody in B2B, that's the golden pipeline for them. They need leads every day that their salespeople can then follow up with.
Yeah, and what you described are classic ways B2B companies generate leads, and how B2B copywriters can help. Like you talked about ebook, you talked about other types of content that's used in lead generation. Here's an example here. This one, I think it is a LinkedIn sponsored post or promoted post from CallRail. And notice what they're doing there. They have some information there. It's a bit of a promo, and they're offering a free ebook. Now, when you click on that link to get my free copy of this ebook, what's going to happen? You're going to be taken to a landing page. You're going to fill out your information. Now you become a sales lead for them. And there's going to be an email follow-up campaign after that, because they're going to follow up with you, right? To kind of gauge your interest and perhaps take you to the next step in that long buying journey. And of course, there's the ebook itself that they're going to send you. Who writes all that stuff? Who writes these ads? Who writes the landing page? Who writes the ebook? Well, some of that may be done in-house, but a lot of it is probably outsourced, particularly the ebook. It's probably outsourced to people like us, freelance content writers. So there's many different types of materials you may write under this umbrella of lead generation. Emails, social media posts, ads, copy for the website, blog posts, blurbs for the company newsletter, email newsletter. We don't have videos on that. So videos is a big player in this. Emails galore, emails, scripts, and it goes on and on. You can write a lot of stuff. And of course, the content offer. B2B companies often use content as a free offer. You know, they call it a bait piece. It's a free offer, right? Sometimes it's an ebook, sometimes it's a white paper. Webinars are popular. Sometimes you can be involved in writing and scripting the webinar. I have. So there's all these different types of content they use as a free offer, free value offer. And you could be writing those as well. So a lot of stuff needs to be written and written well in lead generation. The second big opportunity, and this is just keeps getting bigger, and surprises me a little bit, because just when I think the use of social media in B2B is sort of peaked and stabilized, it just shoots up even more. B2B companies are leaning in heavily to social media. They're all over it. They're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn galore. I mean, they're just exploring every channel, because they're finding that if they have a great social media presence and they produce great content, they generate a lot of interest and leads that way, right? So you notice here, again, that survey from Content Marketing Institute and Marketing Profs. We can go back just for a sec.
Yeah.
You see, this is the paid channels B2B marketers use in the past 12 months. 73% social media advertised and promoted posts, right? So it's growing. Let's take a look at a couple of examples of the types of social media content. This is one here for Staples. This is a business supply store, business supply chain. I don't know if you have them in the States. They're here in Canada.
Staples? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, okay. Good. Okay. I wasn't sure. So this is actually a carousel. It's almost like a slideshow. So on the right of your slide, you see the different slides, right? Not a lot of copy, but a lot of concept and thinking. It kind of tells a story, these slides. And of course, you have the copy for the post itself. So this is an example of the kind of thing that you'll be writing when you write social media posts for B2B companies. Let's take a look at another one.
Yeah, I just wanted to stop here for a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is fascinating to me. I did not know these facts about imitation ink, and I'm guilty of buying imitation ink or you know, knockoff ink once in a while to save money on my printer here. I have an HP printer, but the fact that it can leave you vulnerable to spyware and other things, it's like, whoa, wait a minute now. These are really strong and compelling, short copy, very arresting, great arguments on why you have to buy original manufacturer's ink. It's like, oh, wow, who knew that?
Yeah, they're trying to scare you a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is another one from Employment Works. They're both the same, left and right is both the same social media posts. It's just one shows the drop down text. And there's a
Oh,
bit of
okay.
an art to writing these posts where you write the first couple lines of copy before the see more link. And then that has to be strategically written because not everybody will click the see more link. And then when they click the see more, there's more copy that's strategically written. And then the image and the text on the image. So all this stuff you can learn how to write. You can really master the best practices of putting together a very effective promoted post like this. And I can tell you, B2B companies, they spend a lot of money on promoted posts. You know, a social media post that looks like a regular post, but it's advertising. And if you know how to put together one of these, they're going to be interested in talking to you. Another opportunity that's really grown is video.
Huge, huge,
It
huge,
keeps
huge.
growing every year. And now it's like number one. It kind of
Yeah.
goes climbing the charts every year. And now it's become number one. Companies are really investing in video, video for social media, you know, video like explainer videos for products and services, video galore. Let's take a look at an example on the next slide, Pam. On the right there is a video that I wrote for a company, what we call an explainer video. It's designed to explain how a product works and how it benefits, right? That's a very popular type of video in B2B because a lot of products may be new or technical or somewhat complex. So the video explains it, right? And that's in the background, that's the script. So my role is to write the script. And then the B2B company, the marketing department sends that to their video production company or an in-house company, in-house video production facility, and they create the video. I've done tons of videos. I've written lots of scripts. And between you and me, these are really fun projects.
I
You'll
love
you'll
them.
love writing video scripts. It's like a little like being a Hollywood script writer. I've written videos. This is an animated, but I've written some for professional actors and everything else. It's just really cool, right? And
Yeah.
the one on the right is a UPS video. This is again one using actors, but it's social media. Videos for social media are becoming very popular. A lot of companies like UPS are understanding that, particularly on Facebook and of course YouTube, videos really work well as social media content. So they're producing a lot of them. All right. Here are just some of the different types of videos you'd write as a B2B writer. The explainer video, demo videos, like I just mentioned, social media, customer story videos, where you take a customer story, the person's interviewed, you may be involved in that interview, and then you put together a video based on that interview, right? And the old-fashioned promotional videos for a campaign or something that has a hard offer, promotional videos as well. So
I,
fun to
I
write,
love,
and B2B companies are doing more of it.
I love customer story videos because you can interview them um, and get all the facts. And then as you're talking to them, some little nugget of interesting, unusual intrigue comes out. And you're like, oh man, that's my opener. That's going to be the drama that brings people in instead of just,
That's your hook.
yeah, the
Yeah,
hook.
the
Exactly.
hook.
So you get to do that. When you're interviewing somebody, you get to find that hook or that little nugget of unique attention grabbing content that
Right.
makes your videos stand out for your clients. And videos are a blast. I love them.
Yeah, they're fun. They're very lucrative as well. You're paid well to write video scripts,
Mhm.
and they're very lucrative and they're fun projects to write. Another area that I've been very active in the last few years is a huge opportunity in B2B now is sales enablement content. Let me put this in perspective. Um, Usually, when you're a B2B writer or copywriter, you're writing for the marketing department, the marketing team, and your client is the business owner who's doing their own marketing, or if it's a bigger company, the marketing director, marketing VP. But with sales enablement content, you're writing for the sales team. and the marketing director in charge, a sales director in charge of the sales team. You're writing for them because sales teams need a lot of content these days because they're doing so much of their selling online that they need email templates, they need sell sheets, they need demo videos that they use themselves. They need scripts, they need really well-written blurbs for when they describe benefits, when they describe the products and things of that nature. So you can see a lot of the types of projects. They're selling playbooks, talk tracks, battle cards. I know they're strange terms for some of you, but it's just content. It's copy and content that the B2B sales team uses. And the growth in this area is exponential. B2B companies are investing heavily in content for the B2B sales team. And if you can catch some, grab some of that action and learn how to write sales enablement content, there's a lot of work there available, a lot of very lucrative work available.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but salespeople aren't copywriters. And they really don't know what to say. They'll sit in front of the computer like, I don't know what to say without sounding too pushy or obnoxious or like I'm bothering the client. I really want, I see their need and I want to address their need and I want to offer a great solution, but I have no idea how to put those words together. So,
that's right. They may be good face to face.
Right.
Like they're good on a Zoom call, they're good face to face, they're good at a trade show booth. But when it comes to writing an email to reach out to potential prospect and get them interested, or a proposal or some other type of content they need, then a lot of salespeople are not great writers, or even those who are great writers, they prefer to spend their time selling, not writing.
Yeah, right.
They don't want to spend their time writing. Yeah. So hence this opportunity to create copy and content and templates for the sales team. Let's look at a couple of examples.
Yep, and they're paid to close the deals. That's what their commission. It's really critical to close those deals. So they don't want to spend time coming up with email copy. That's not their
thing. And that's what makes this particular opportunity in B2B so lucrative, is that your work as writing the copy and content, there's a direct line between the quality of your work and sales. You talk to a sales director about writing content for the sales team, and in the sales director mind, she sees a direct connection between what you do and getting more sales. So it's an easy yes. Often when I talk to them, they're like, "Yes, let's do it," and they're very quick, because they see that as getting more sales, right? So here's an example here of a template that you might write for a B2B company for their sales team that they would use or adapt. And this is a cold outreach, a cold call email, right? See how short it is? And you may get a job to write maybe 10 of these, 10 versions of an outreach template, prospecting email template, or 20 or 30, I remember a writer many years ago told me that he got a gig to write 70 email templates, 70, I remember when he first told me, I said, 17? That sounds about, no, 70, like 70. Wow. So this is a big part of sales enablement content, is writing their messages, writing their emails for them. And it's not just that, there's another type of project that's good too. It's called a talk track, or sometimes battle card or selling card. Let's see the next slide there. This is basically scripts and blurbs that they can use to to figure out how to say something in a certain situation. For example, if they're talking to a potential customer and the customer says, "Well, your price is higher than the competition," you don't want the salesperson to be all, you don't want them to fumble that. So what sales directors like is to have something written, a response that is polished, that's persuasive, that settles that issue immediately. So that's what these talk tracks and battle cards are about, is they're basically scripts and lines of copy that a salesperson can refer to, right? And say, okay, here's how I say this. Here's how I describe the product in a nutshell, in a nice, clear, persuasive paragraph. Here's how I describe this feature. If I'm talking to a prospect about a certain feature, here's the best way to describe that feature. And it's all in this talk track that they can refer to and practice with.
Yeah,
These
when
are
I
very
was
valuable projects. I've been paid over $5,000 to write just a few pages of this stuff.
nice.
I mean, and there's many other types of sales enablement projects as
Yeah.
well. Fun
I was going
area,
to
fun
say,
niche.
when I was in corporate America many moons ago, we actually had to train all our salespeople on something called action selling, which is a trademark selling process that somebody has uh, written a book about, and a lot of sales teams around the world have followed it. And it's essentially this: what is your biggest problem right now? Client prospect, and they'll say, well, I can't get my what is it on this sheet? I want to pick one. Food spoilage is a problem. Well, the action selling aspect is you go back to what the problem is, and then you'll answer it. What if we never had to have food spoilage again? Well, what would that be like for you? And of course, I'd love that. Tell me more. And that's where these battle card sheets come in, because they may give you a different problem. And so, this battle sheet has touched on 3 different features and 3 different solutions. And so what's really cool is if you as a writer can talk to the client and say, what are the top problems your customers have or your potential customers have? Let's come up with a message for each one of those to help them overcome that problem. And it's genius. It's on this card. So the salespeople can overcome any objection, solve any problem. And that's where sales enablement is a superhero skill that you can have. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, and it's a lot of writers aren't even aware that this market even exists. This thing called sales enablement. It's fast growing, and it's a good opportunity. Another opportunity that has always been big, it's kind of evergreen, but never goes away, and that's customer success stories. In fact, I think they're probably more important now than they ever were before, because this is something AI can't do, right? A success stories are original. A success story is the story of a real customer, how the problem they had, how they discovered your client's product, how they use your client's product, and the great results they're getting from your client's product, the outcomes they're getting, and what they have to say about your client's product. It's their story. And the fun thing about these types of projects is that you get to interview usually your client's customer,
Mhm.
just like a reporter would. You get to interview them. You get to pull their story out, find their story and then write their story. I mean, how much fun is that, right? These are very fun projects. Like video, I like video projects, but also like case studies because they're just really, really fun to write.
Well, the
Um,
reason too that these work so well is because it builds trust. Um, People who are in the B2B buying space, they see a lot of promotional stuff from companies, but if they see a peer of theirs who they actually either know or they recognize a name, or it's a company like theirs, and they see that real story, that builds trust and easy for me to say, authenticity, because it's not the company saying it, it's a peer-to-peer proof. So these are so much fun for that very reason. You're giving a client a different way for them to put themselves out there in a favorable light that actually builds super trust. So
oh yeah, not that like I've spoken to B2B companies who've told me that they can't sell their product. If someone won't buy their solution unless they see the case studies, that's a necessary part of the
wow.
buying process for them. Let's see a couple of case studies. We want to know how this works at another similar company before we buy, right?
Mhm.
So these case studies are crucial to the buying side. They're not, they're not nice to haves. They're must haves for many B2B companies. And they very rarely do these projects in-house. They're almost always outsourced, usually to a copywriter, content writer who knows how to interview, knows how to write these success stories. Here's another one from CardScan.
Yep. Problem,
All right.
solution over here on the right, and the results. And the thing about the results is those results are something that the other prospects in that lane want to have too. That's how case studies are so powerful. Like, oh
Yeah,
my
and they're
God.
not promises. They're not like you're writing a brochure and you're promising results or making claims. These are the actual results that another company got. from the
Mhm.
product, and they're going on record saying these are the results we got when we bought this product,
Right.
right? So you can see how valuable that is. Another opportunity that's come up is, and this is constantly in flux. When I talk to B2B companies, it's AI prompting and last minute editing. A lot of B2B companies, the last kind of statistic I saw in it recently was 70% of B2B marketing departments are exploring AI, using AI, trying to figure out how to use AI, usually in their process in creating campaigns, but also in creating copy and content as well. So you may think, what role do I play there? Well, B2B marketing departments need help writing effective prompts and teaching AI to get the kind of copy that they want, and also doing what's called last mile editing. So let's say a company is promoting a free webinar to generate leads. They may go to ChatGPT and prompt it, or get you to prompt it to create a webinar promotion. It's going to be pretty average, right? And they may come to you and say, "Can you be our last mile rewriter editor? Take the output and mold it and change it and rewrite it and revise it and do your magic to make it really good, so we get a higher response, right? Better results." So there's that kind of opportunity coming up. To be honest with you, I'm not really I don't really know what to think of that opportunity, but that opportunity is there, right? For there are B2B writers that are doing that for companies that are sort of some on a retainer, where they're creating, helping them with prompting, they help them with last mile editing, and they're kind of playing that role where a lot of marketing departments are generating AI. And also, one person I talked to that's actually doing this in a substantial way, he tells me, "I'm doing prompting and last mile editing for a market for a company, but not everything. AI can't do everything. AI does a bad job at certain types of marketing materials, like success stories. AI can't do that." So he says, "I'm also getting, the full copywriting job for a lot of projects as well, where there's no AI involved. So I'm doing all these different things." And the way he sees it is that it's just all the different ways I'm using my content and copywriting expertise to help the client. So I think that's great. So a lot of that's coming up, and there is opportunities here in
Yep.
AI.
Now, Steve, I see a phrase here. People might not know what it is. Full stack copywriting. What is full stack?
Yeah. I don't even know if it's a phrase. I just called it full stack
It
copy.
is. It's out there. Yeah.
What I meant is that you're not getting AI to do. You're doing everything, from planning to writing the copy to editing to doing the whole thing.
Great. Okay. I just want
I
to
just
make.
wanted to differentiate it from using AI.
Yep. All right.
And there's another one that's related, that's emerging here, that crosses into last mile editing. And that is that a lot of companies are very concerned about their brand voice. They're very concerned about sounding too AI-ish. So a lot of them are hiring copywriters, content writers, editors to be kind of a voice of the brand editor, to do basically what I just showed you, but making sure their voice, style, tone, point of view, the persuasive approach, the copywriting best practices are all being used before any content kind of goes out the door and it's implemented. So there's some opportunity there that's coming up as well. Kind of an exciting area.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a growth area.
Okay.
Technical copywriting. Big opportunity. First thing I got to say about that, it's not technical writing. Technical
Right.
writing is writing the documentation, the deep documentation on a technical product or a technology. I mean, that would hurt my head.
No,
You know,
manual. I actually wrote a
yeah.
manual once and I had to go home and go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Technical copywriting is writing the persuasive stuff, writing the emails and ads and brochures and sell sheets, the fun stuff, where you don't have to be a deep technical expert. What you really need to know is what the product is, what it does, its features and benefits, how it helps the customer, what problems it solves for the customer, how the customer can use it, that type of stuff. I call this salesperson's knowledge. You need salesperson's knowledge of the product in order to write effective copy. Now, for years, a lot of these heavy technical industries like semiconductors were kind of closed to many writers because frankly, you needed a really high technical knowledge in order to write for these industries. You needed to, like, it'd be great if you're an engineer, but even not, you'd have to have some, you have to learn a lot to really get your head around it and understand it. Now, AI has changed that game a lot. And with AI, what you can do is you can get AI to teach you to get up to speed on a lot of the type of technical product very, very quickly. Like I was writing for a company that does visual data dashboards, visualization data. And it's highly technical. It involves different streams of data and things like that. It would hurt your head trying to learn that. So I got ChatGPT to teach me. Told it I was a layperson. Tell me in layperson's terms how this works, and then ask it questions, and then get it to teach me. Within an hour or two, I really had a good basic understanding. I'm not a computer engineer. If I was a computer engineer would have an advantage over me, obviously, but I had a good basic understanding. And then I asked it to teach me about the target market, like people who buy data visualization dashboards. What do they ask about? What do they what terms and acronyms do they use in their regular vocabulary when they talk about it? What are their concerns about it? And it taught me that about the target audience. And very, very quickly, I was gaining that salesperson's knowledge. Like what a salesperson would need to know to sell this product, that's what you need to know to sell this product. And the opportunities are here are huge because not a lot of writers go into these spaces. So there's a supply and demand is kind of on your side here. So if you're going to write for, practice management software, as you have here on the screen, or write for semiconductors, or write for some other type of kind of techie industry, there's not a lot of competition because a lot of writers stay away from it. And you can use AI to kind of open the doors to those opportunities, and they're lucrative. These companies, because there's not a lot of writers that can do it, pay well. Brochures, white papers, websites, customer success stories, emails, spec sheets, videos, the works, and they produce a lot of content, a lot of longer form content, and it pays very, very well.
Yeah, I just want to throw in a personal example. A lot of times also salespeople who know a lot about the product know almost too much to boil it down into simple, what's in it for me, the audience kind of language. And I used to use what we call at AWAI, the so what technique. So I'd have somebody come down to the marketing department where I worked and they'd say, we have a new blood analyzer for animals, for vet practice to use to help them. And I'm like, well, what does it do? It gives them a 5-part differential plus a reticulocyte. And I'm like, so what? Well, it gives them a lot of information in the clinic. So what? It's more than they've ever had before. So what? It helps the vet in 6 minutes diagnose difficult cases. Bing, bing, bing. So if you can get to that ultimate so what, in a pleasant way, of course, I wasn't like, so what, but it really helps them. It helps the client think through, oh my gosh, yeah, we've been working on this invention forever and we love everything it does and all the bells and whistles, but we haven't really articulated that end. What's the big deal to the end reader or user or prospect? So that's where you come in as a layperson and can beautifully do that. You learn enough about their business, but you keep probing for those ultimate benefits or ultimate outcomes that you're trying to convey. You will be gold to them because that will differentiate them from all the other stuff that is out there that doesn't get to that heart of why anyone should care about this new whiz bang product. So anyway.
Right, right. Yeah, and I've been using that so what technique for years. It's probably the number one strategic technique for really getting to the core message you want when
Yeah.
when you're writing copy for a product or service. It's such a powerful technique.
Yeah.
And something to keep in mind with marketing directors of tech companies, they don't want to train a writer. They don't want to get a writer up to speed on their technology. They don't want to hire a writer and go, okay, we got to teach them about data visualization dashboards and where do we begin and can you Google it, and they don't want to. They want you to get up to speed quickly, and it was hard before to do that. It was
Yeah.
hard even with Googling and YouTube videos. It was hard. AI has changed that game.
Yeah.
You can educate yourself so quickly with AI and get up to speed.
Yeah.
And the final one I wanted to kind of focus on is another evergreen one is longer form content, longer articles for newsletters and blogs and even LinkedIn, ebooks and white papers, multi-page documents. I can tell you, this is still a strong opportunity for B2B writers. If you like writing long form, ebooks and white papers, there's a lot of opportunities there for you in the B2B market. They tend to be high paying projects, like white papers pay $5,000 plus. Ebooks, which may not be as technical, $4,000 plus. I mean, you can really do well here. Even the longer form articles can pay well. So there's a lot of opportunities here for writing longer form content in B2B.
And this is one of the things I love about B2B that has not changed, is this important information that the end user, the decision maker needs, is still so strong, like these white papers and articles. And I just read something yesterday, blogs are still #1 when it comes to return on investment, and emails are still way up there when it comes to return on investment. And that has never changed. It's fascinating to me because there is so much more now to put out there. But these fundamental things still work like gangbusters. So B2B companies need them written, and they need your help to write them. So let's summarize all these exciting opportunities.
Yeah, and keep in mind these are just eight, but eight opportunities that are worth thinking about. But we could have written 100 here. Lead generation, social media, video, sales enablement content. One of my favorites. Customer success stories, AI prompting, last mile editing, technical copywriting. The doors are opening in technical copywriting. They were closed before if you didn't have the technical knowledge. Now they're open. There's a whole new world there of opportunity for you. And articles, ebooks, and white papers.
Beautiful. Now let's talk a little bit about fees. And I have a disclaimer. When we talk about fees, we are out there all the time looking at ranges. What are typical ranges? What are other copywriters charging? We just can't promise that you will get these fees because it really depends on so many variables, the client size, their budget, what they want you to do. But these are typical ranges. So we just wanted to share with you what you could possibly earn on these different projects. So I'm just going to whip through them, Steve. Articles, depending on the length, can be 250 to 800 per article. I've recently written, I think, 12 to 1500 word blog posts for about $650 each. Those are pretty easy to do. If you're doing longer, really intense with lots of graphics and images, that's going to be much more. Some people are writing $3,000 articles. So it really depends. Case studies can run between $1,250 to $2,250 each. Again, a range, it really depends. Social media posts, boy, this is amazing. There's so much need to put out constant attention-getting content that you can make a really good income possibly doing social media alone. Emails, 350 to 700 each, 750 each. That includes the, I don't know if you want to talk, Steve, real quickly about sales enablement, unless I'm looking at, we do on the next slide.
Yeah, I don't know if we listed a price for sales, and this isn't a complete list, obviously,
Yeah.
but sales enablement projects can pay very, very well, usually at the top end of these fees, simply because of the direct correlation between sales enablement content and actually making a sale, making the company money.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to whip through the rest of these. Video scripts, $1,000 to $2,500 for 1 to 5 minute scripts. Wow. Brochures and sell sheets, $500 to $750 per page. So if you have a 4-page brochure, you can do the math. Voice of the brand and last mile editing, $100 per page, or they may want you to do an hourly rate. I have run into some clients recently that really want me to go with an hourly rate because that's the way they're set up. And that's cool. You can say, well, I charge $150 an hour. How's that? And they're like, great. How many hours do you think you ballpark? And I'm like, well, I don't really know. So we'll just see how it goes. That gives you some flexibility if they're not sure and you're not sure. So you can anticipate that sometimes that a B2B company operates on hourly rates. They just do. Some of them. Email templates for the sales team. That's the sales enablement piece there. $1,500 to $4,500 for a toolkit. Talking tracks and sales scripts, again, $500 to $1,000 per page. And then proposal templates, what a gem this is, 3,500 to 5,000. And the reason those are so critical is because if proposals can be millions of dollars to B2B companies, and if they win the gig, you are going to be such a superhero. So that amount is a tiny portion to them of what they could get if the proposal is chosen. Steve, I don't know if you want to add to that a bit.
Yeah, there's someone I know I've spoken with that for B2B sales proposal templates charges $10,000 flat rate. Now he's at the top of his field,
Wow.
but still, it gives you an idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, the fees are really good on in the sales enablement side of things.
Now, one thing too on all these rates we're showing you is that retainer agreements are quite common. I just signed one for doing some web work for a veterinary association, and they want to know they have you in their pocket every month producing content that they need. Content doesn't stop. You don't write one email or one blog post and go, okay, I'm all done. No, it's a pipeline that keeps on going, the gift that keeps on giving. And so you can set up a monthly retainer to write a certain amount of projects. Like I'm doing 10 pages, 10 web pages optimized a month at a certain fee. You could do blog posts, or you could do video scripts, or a combination. And they love that. And it works great for you because it's steady income, but they also love it because they don't want to keep hunting for a new writer. They don't want to keep like putting something out that for bid or for trying to find somebody. It's just a pain to them. So they love retainers because let's lock it down every month for the year. We're going to have this. And then if we have some extra stuff, we'll add it as a additional fee. But retainers are beautiful in this world for that reason. So, okay. Now let's talk about the big enchilada here, the AI factor. It's out there. Every day we hear about it. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's embracing it. But are they doing it the right way? And here's the thing. You can help them a lot. And Steve, why don't you jump in and talk about that?
Yeah, here's my approach to working with companies with AI is that I'm always transparent. Like I have that conversation with clients about how I use AI. I have a written AI policy that I share with them. I encourage you to have your own written AI policy. How do you use AI? And I'm very transparent with the client. And I'm also open to options. I talk to the client. Some clients, because they have proprietary products and that, they go, we don't want that to be fed into an AI. Who knows where that information goes? So some have really strong policies against using AI.
Mm-hmm.
Some are more for it, right?
Yeah.
Some want you to use AI so you can produce content faster for them, they presume. So but have that conversation with a client. Just open it up and be on the same page with them so it never becomes a problem. And be flexible when it comes to adjusting your own policy and use of AI when you're working with the client.
And I just want to add too that oh gosh, I lost my train of thought on AI. Let me think. They are finding, that's what my point is. I have been reading up on this like daily because B2B is my biggest and first interest in my own freelance life. And so I'm following all these thought leaders and people who are studying what's working. And what they have found is last year, everybody went, AI, it's the end all be all, it's fantastic. And this year they're going, oh, wait, not so much. Not if you just use it alone. And they're finding that original content or a blend of AI and human is way outperforming just AI. So that's where we can step in and add that unique aspect, the original stories, the original, like the founder's mission on why they created this product. AI can't do that. They haven't interviewed the founder, right? So that these are the things that you can offer that take away the sameness that's happening if people are just using AI. AI is getting sophisticated, but it still can't do certain things. I even asked ChatGPT the other day, can you interview a person to write a story? And they're like, no, we can't do that. Beautiful, I can. So, try to be an ally and help your clients stand out apart from everybody else by adding that human element. All right, how to get those clients? Always a question of the day. We at AWA, I have a lot of resources for you. We have an entire I don't know, 60 or 70 now Inside AWAI sessions like this. And a lot of them are about getting clients. So I highly encourage you to go over there. They're free. They're each about an hour like this. They're chock full of ideas for you to try. And I encourage you to be persistent, because if we say, post on LinkedIn or send out an email newsletter, don't do it just once and go, oh man, I did it and nobody responded. You have to keep going, keep going, keep going, because ultimately you will get there. LinkedIn is huge. Steve Maurer, who's with us today, is killing it on LinkedIn, and he has a great time there. I know of other writers in our circle like Rebecca Mays and Carol. They're doing amazing things on LinkedIn. We have job boards out there with jobs for remote workers. You could check them out. B2B marketing agencies are looking for writers always. If you go to a B2B marketing agency, you do a Google search in your town, or area, is there a B2B marketing agency? Quite often there's a career page on that website, and they'll say looking for freelance writers or looking for a staff writer. Staff writing might be awesome. And then local and national business associations, trade associations, they put out so much content, and it's all B2B. Trade associations are all for their professional associations for people in that profession. And if you want to learn more about that, I do have a how to choose a niche session inside AWAI that goes through how to find gigs through trade associations. And then make prospecting a weekly habit. It's your new job to find time every week to prospect for clients. We do have programs too, how-to programs. If you want to go through our catalog, you can go on awai.com and just put in the word B2B, and you will find articles and programs on that. But today, since you're here, we are very excited to announce something totally new and thrilling for 2025, and that is our AWAI B2B Copywriting Intensive, featuring none other than himself, Steve Slaunwhite, but we have several B2B experts too who are going to be on hand to teach you live. We used to do B2B intensives. I think this will be number 6 or 7. They were in person at times, and we've had some online at times. We took a little hiatus, but now we are all in on this, because we're seeing what's going on with the growth in need for content writers who know what they're doing with B2B clients. So starting June 2nd, every week, we're going to have, I think for 8 weeks, we're going to have live sessions with experts on different aspects. Some of the opportunities we showed you today, they're going to cover in detail, in depth. It's really going to be amazing, and I'm so excited because I get to be the host, and so I get to learn at the same time that we're teaching you. And everybody's bringing their A game to their sessions. And Steve, you were very instrumental in putting together the list of topics and the agenda. Tell us a little bit about why you chose the topics that you did that we're going to cover.
Well, I chose I help work with you to choose the topics that will give B2B writers the best opportunities they can within the B2B writing world. So we doing a whole session on sales enablement, for example. I mentioned how sales enablement is such a hot market, but we didn't get a chance to talk about how to write sales enablement stuff. So we're doing a whole educational session just on how to write the sales enablement stuff so you can go to market with that skill set, right? Same thing with technical copywriting. How do you break it? How do you write technical for technical products? We're going into, we're doing a whole session on that. We talk about white papers and ebooks. I believe, am I wrong? Gordon Graham is teaching that
Yes.
one. Yeah, Gordon Graham is undisputed the #1 expert in the world on white papers and
Yep.
ebooks, and he's going to do a whole session on that. That's a highly lucrative market, so you're going to know how to write white papers. So the whole intensive is designed to build your skills stack in such a way that you can go to market with value and credibility, and really get into this B2B writing world. And for those of you who are already writing for the B2B market, there's lots of opportunities here in the B2B intensive to sharpen your skills in areas that you already have some expertise in, but also, add new things to your skill stack. You may not know that much about sales enablement copy, or white papers, and you'll be able to add those skill set and become even more valuable to clients in this new world of B2B writing, because things have changed.
And I know that we've never really taught specifically writing for the technical world, the tech space. And so that
Right.
session alone is going to be brand new and exciting to us because so much opportunity in that one area as the tech world just explodes more than ever. Katie, you're on joining us
I just
now.
wanted to jump in. I mean, we are so excited about this, and the fact that all the work and coming together, it's such the perfect time for us to be having this conversation with members because of all these opportunities that we just touched the surface on today. But you know, having a preview of what's going to be covered. I did want to clarify that it's 4 weeks, not 8 weeks.
Oh, 4 weeks, 8 sessions.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing this in a really efficient, thorough. We want you being able to apply this stuff this summer, you know, so you can get started right away. So I just wanted
Yep.
to add that. So Pam, I think you were going to actually dive in a little bit more and show
I'm going to do
give people
something.
a sneak peek into what's already set up and waiting for them.
I don't believe we have ever done this before. I may be wrong, but I don't believe we've ever showed the member page behind the curtain if you become a member of this program. So this is the first, you guys, and I can't wait to show you because these sessions are mind-blowing. We have found the best person to teach each topic here, and obviously it's Steve in many ways.
Well, Steve is our guru for all things B2B.
That's right.
He's the dean of
but
our
I'm not
B2B.
teaching every one of them. You have experts in key
No, we
areas,
do.
like lead
So-
generation and video.
But I know
Well,
you're
hold on.
excited
So-
about these other topics too.
Yeah, we have two pre.
Oh, and I just noticed Casey Hibbert's teaching case studies. Remember I said about Gordon Graham, the world's lead.
No, wait.
Again,
Yeah.
ask anybody in B2B marketing, the #1 expert on case studies, customer
It's Casey.
success stories in the world is Casey Hibbert.
Yep.
And she's teaching.
Yep. So we have two pre-training sessions. So if you're new to B2B, you can get caught up and get up to speed quickly before all the live sessions start. And then we have another one on the changing demographic of B2B buyers. And there's a lot of updated new stuff about that and what they're looking for and what their pain points are. So there's a whole session on that to watch before we dive into these different projects. Steve's going to cover the landscape, what's going on now. Then we're going to talk about lead gen with Rachel Kraft, video scripts that sell. We're welcoming a new expert to our realm here at AWAI, Tyler Lessard, who is a Canadian, by the way, fellow Canadian Steve. He is like the king of B2B video scripts, and we are so excited to have him on board. That's going to be really special. And then sales enablement copywriting. You know, we have a certification program for that, but this is the latest, greatest content from Steve on what is going on now with helping sales teams, which is, again, a huge opportunity that many of us haven't really dabbled in. So customer success stories, we have Casey Hibbard back. She's the queen of that. Breaking into technical copywriting, again, Steve, this is a huge opportunity. I've been doing some of that. And then what else is happening here? White papers and ebooks in the age of AI. We haven't really heard from Graham for a little while, and he's been diving into AI with gusto and seeing how that affects his ability to write white papers and ebooks. So this is going to be like hot off the press, literally, from Gordon. I'm going to be talking about writing for B2B professional service providers. I'll explain what all that is, but basically my accountant, I've been writing for 30 years, is a service provider, and the work is steady with them. And then we have a panel, a roundtable panel, to discuss anything you'd like and how we all feel about the opportunity coming up. And then there are several bonus materials. So I've never done that before, showing you the member page. So thank you, Jade, for putting it together, by the way. But it's going to be amazing. So I want to stop sharing that and go back to our slides. So you have the, if you're interested, you've got the, what do you call it?
Yeah, there's more information, but I think this is going to fill up quick. I
Yeah.
think we're going to be hitting the road ready to go. So I definitely encourage you to check it out. I think it's the perfect kickoff for the summer to really get you set up to be able to implement all that you'll be learning quickly. And if you have any interest in B2B, there's just so many avenues you can take. There's so many roads, and there's just such a huge need for writers that understand all of what our experts understand.
Yep. So I hope you sign up. The link there, B2B intensive, awai.com/B2B intensive. Check it out and see if it's for you. I hope to see you there.
Oh yeah, and Susanna's asking, yes, if you're an Infinity member or a COS member, go to your member page.
Right.
Your price is there, and again, more information there. So definitely go check that out. I encourage that.
Mhm.
And, you know, before we get into Q&A, I just want to thank you guys. This was so informative. Anybody listening, if you got some love for Steve and Pam, and I'd love to hear what your number one takeaway from this presentation was, if you can just throw that in either the chat or the Q&A, and why you're excited about B2B. I'd love to hear that as well. So either chat or Q&A, that would be awesome. And now I am going to jump to
Katie,
some.
before you jump, can you let everybody know we have a great question from Susanna if they're COS or Infinity?
Nope,
Yes,
she
I
didn't.
did. I did just answer that. And I said,
Perfect.
yes, there is. And they should go to their member page.
Right. Always look
Okay.
on your member page whenever we're talking about something, because
Yeah, just go to your Infinity page or your COS page and it'll be right there.
Yep.
Okay, so we do have a couple questions, you know, people that are starting out. Lori and Chris kind of asked a similar question. You know, are companies willing to work with people that are just starting out? How do you differentiate yourself from maybe agencies? And Steve, I actually want to hear both of your answers for that. But Steve, let's start with you.
Well, I wouldn't go to a company and say, I'm a beginner, please hire me.
Right, exactly.
What you want to do is you want to develop your skill set, your offer, what you do, how you can help, and then offer that as your professional service. Like get your skills to a professional level, which is what the intensive is all about. And then you're on the market selling that professional service, and what you can do for a client, and just put your best foot forward. Questions may come up. The client may say, well, have you ever written a white paper before? And maybe you haven't written a white paper before, but you can say, but I've taken a professional development program through AWAI on writing a white paper taught by the leading white paper expert in the world. And I've written a lot of other things that are related to white papers. So this is a project that I can handle, and just put your best foot forward all the time.
Absolutely. It really is about the connection with the writer for me as somebody that hires writers, and it's about the ideas they bring. If somebody has a good idea, I'm not going to dig into, well, what have you done before? Or it's all about, yes, I get excited about that idea. Let's develop it. And the other thing is, which again came up in the chat, all of this is collaborative. You're not the only one being charged with coming up with the ideas or the implementation. Somebody was asking that about how the video process works, like if they have to come up with everything and then take care of the production. This is a very collaborative experience where, you know, you might brainstorm. They may have an idea that's half-baked that they want you to flesh out a little bit more. You might come with some idea and you want to bounce it off them. And then that's how these things take root and come to fruition. But again, Steve, you know, with all of the clients that you've worked with over all these years, could you talk about that collaboration, that aspect of it?
Well, I think it's crucial. You don't want to be an order taker in B2B. You
Right.
want to collaborate. You want to share ideas. You want to partner with your client. And the best clients I've had, the best client experience I had, is those clients where I felt like I was part of the team. I'm a partner. I'm creating great content for them, great copy for them, but also sharing ideas, offering suggestions, being that collaborator with your client is so important, and it just makes for a great working relationship, and you become the kind of partner for a client that they want to keep working with for years and years and years. So it's crucial
100%.
in B2B.
I love that. Carolyn from the UK is asking, is it always necessary to SEO case studies? And part two, can you use AI in the writing of them?
AI doesn't do a good job with case studies because it can't do the interview.
Right.
And then the person doing the interview is always the best person to write the story. So if you do the interview, what are you going to do? You're trying to kind of take your feelings, your gut feelings, the hooks, the best ideas, try to put it into an AI and get it. By the time you've done all that, you might as well write the thing yourself. So AI doesn't do a good job with case studies. That's why case studies are almost always human written, right?
Right.
So AI doesn't really play a strong role there. SEO, I've never been much of an SEO expert. I know it's changing a lot. So, I can't really speak to that. Maybe Pam can say something to that.
I need to weigh in on this because, sorry, I'm typing an answer to a Q&A, but so here's the thing about SEO. Yes, it's changing, and no, it's not changing. So Google, I mean, somebody on LinkedIn every day is talking about SEO is dead, long live SEO. People are still searching for solutions out there. And yes, some of them are using Perplexity and other AI tools, but a lot of people are still using Google because that's their default and they just kind of go to that. The AI summary at the beginning of Google results, not going away, but you can do things for your clients' websites that will help your client be among that summary at the top. And also SEO is still one of the #1 ways people find websites. Search engine, if you haven't heard of that, search engine optimization. I study this every day, you guys. I follow all these people, and the data is out there that SEO efforts, like if you're optimizing your blog post for topics people are searching answers to, you're going to do fine. So it's still a big deal out there and it's not going away. It just may be that different platforms offer different search result experiences, but Google is not going away. The levels of searches may drop and shift and change, but it also depends on the niche industry and the types of topics people are searching for. I actually just got hired in my freelance life to do 10 pages a month of SEO copy for a company that hasn't really updated their website in a long time. So it's definitely still a thing. It's a very strong category.
Excellent. Great. I love these questions. It just shows you guys are thinking, you're getting this, and you're looking for opportunities. So I think that's fabulous. And like Chris's question, regarding lead gen, what metrics do marketing managers use to evaluate the success of a lead gen campaign?
Well, ultimately, it's number of leads, like the amount of
Right.
leads that they generated. But sometimes they try to go deeper and they try to qualify leads. It's a thing in B2B called lead scoring. That's never really worked well in B2B. But sometimes they look for other metrics, conversion rates, open rates of emails, conversion rates of landing pages, other different metrics. But the ultimate metric for a lead generating campaign is how many leads did we generate this month that we can pass on to the sales team for follow-up.
Right. Yeah. And again, I think it does vary so greatly between companies. But that's a conversation that you have beforehand so that everybody understands the expectations. You don't want to think, oh, they need, 100 or whatever, when really maybe they only need 5 good ones or whatever it is. It varies so much. So great. Thank you. And Trisha is asking, would you say it would be a faster ramp up to focus on an industry niche or a writing specialization? Example, everything for B2B real estate companies or social media for any company?
My opinion is fastest way is industry. So focus on, at least you want to focus on the real estate industry, which is a niche, a good niche. The companies that sell stuff to realtors, because that was my niche for a long time. Yeah, focus on that niche because what happens, you get to know the companies in that niche, you get to know the products in that niche, you get to know that target audience. Your learning curve is so much faster. You get up to speed faster. People in the same niche talk to each other, so you benefit from word of mouth and referrals that way. So just things just happen faster if you focus on a niche or industry.
I agree. Pam, do you agree with that too?
I couldn't agree more. I don't want people to get bogged down by deciding on a niche, but if you have a background in anything, or if you reach out to local clients, for example, service providers or law firms, or which are law firms or chiropractors or veterinary practices, just start somewhere and offer to help them. But if you
That's
have,
it. That is it.
right, just start somewhere and offer to help them. But I was going to say, I have experience in the pet industry. So it was a no-brainer for me to reach out to companies in the pet industry because I offer a special package of knowledge of the market and the jargon and all that good stuff. So, and there aren't a lot of other pet copywriters out there, or there aren't as many with that are me. There, you know what I mean? So if you do know something about, and it doesn't even have to be that you had a career in it. It could be that you're an avid gardener and landscaper. Well, there's a gigantic B2B world in the commercial landscaping and gardening category. So you already know what people care about in that world. So it's easier for you to jump in and talk about stuff you know and write about stuff you know. So that's, and you could start with blog posts, something simple, and grow from there. Don't let I don't have enough skills in different projects stop you, and don't let the niche choice stop you. I'm just saying, if you have a background in something, why not try that?
Fantastic. Okay, I'm sorry, my eyes are darting all over the
I
place
know.
because of these questions coming in too. Elizabeth is asking, how can she research companies to find those with $1 million plus in revenue and profits to write for? I mean, first of all, do you even think that that is a good strategy to go after that size? Do you think it matters? And if so, how is there an easy way to find out that information?
Yeah, I don't think like the data is available, but I
Yeah.
don't think you need to kind of go that far with it to get specific. How many employees do you have? What are your sales revenues? I think you can tell by visiting the website, visiting your social media activity on LinkedIn. Very quickly, you can find out how many people work there at the company. That'll give you a sense of how big they are. And that's really all you need. You don't need to kind of go any deeper into that.
I would just add something though. Elise Bennon, who does a lot of our how to get clients teaching, she did about 6 months ago, maybe fewer, a session on how to find potential clients using perplexity.ai. And she actually did boil it down. She said, okay, tell me about companies in, I'm just going to make it up, some sort of category, the shipping world. What kind of companies in the US do shipping for B2B companies? And then it gave answers. And then it said, how many are in this employee range or income revenue range? And it boiled down. Now, can you tell me who the marketing director is? In some cases, they could because it's listed on those company websites. In some cases, it couldn't. But you can do AI research to find some of these things if you really feel like it. So.
And we do have a bonus with that's in the intensive, finding clients with AI,
Right.
which is again, state of the art, which is, some people are asking what's the difference between this and the foundational programs that we have on these topics. This is what's happening right now. It's hearing from experts based on what they've been experiencing, that some of them are new to our world, and we haven't had the pleasure of them sharing their expertise yet. There's just a different experience between going through the foundational programs, which are great, and just being in an interactive situation where you can ask questions, where you're hearing what's working as of right now, and you're getting that kind of insight that just comes from, you know, spending 2 hours with Steve and 2 hours with Pam and with these other experts. And there's assignments. We didn't really touch on that. Each session has assignments that you're going to be doing. And so it's just a fuller experience, in my opinion. It's a way that I really care to learn, and I feel like I learn the best. So if it's for you, check it out. We're already getting some signups, which I'm very excited to see. Okay, we have 2 more questions, and then I think we need to wrap, because we've been I don't want to overstay our welcome here with everybody. JP in Canada, are you bilingual, Steve? Do you write in English and French? Is that ever an issue? And Pam,
It's never been an issue for me. I don't write in French. There are specialists that specialize in writing and translating marketing copy into French or any or other languages as well. And of course, you can't use the same turns of phrases and metaphor. There'd be a lot of differences. Can't be a straight translation. There's specialists that do that, but I've never ran into it.
Yeah, and it hasn't been an issue, right?
No, not an issue. Not an issue at all in Canada.
No. Finally, last question. Donna is asking, you know, on LinkedIn specifically, how can writers who are trained that have this kind of experience stand out from, you know, people that don't?
Well, you know, having B2B copywriting, writing skills sometimes makes you stand out just by having that, being able to demonstrate that. I hear from B2B marketers all the time, and the same refrain every year. And they often say something like, you know, there's a lot of writers out there. I mean, LinkedIn's full of writers, but we're looking for a B2B writer. And they just kind of see that as a kind of a different skill set altogether. We're looking for a B2B writer, not just another writer, a B2B writer. So just being just building your skill stack in B2B stuff can set you apart, in my opinion.
And I think by showing, not telling, you know, it's all about showing,
Yes.
not telling. So the way you participate in the conversations on LinkedIn, the way you answer questions, the way you help and you teach and you advise, that shows you got the chops, and you know, you're not just spouting off things. So with that, I think that's all the questions. Again, I really encourage everybody to check out that link, learn more about this, see if this is right for you. If it is, the stars are lining up, and this really is going to be a great 4 weeks together. Pam, Steve, thank you so much for this time today. Pam, any final words?
No, I'm just actually answering a question. Somebody said, is SEO important in B2B? Oh, yes, it is, because B2B
Yes.
companies need to be found in online searches by their potential customers. I guess I would just say that if I was ever going to be bullish about an opportunity, it's B2B right now, because the competition for every company in every niche has never been more fierce. And they can't not put out content and great copy that attracts customers. They just can't stop doing that, because they'll disappear. It just, they have to be on that same level as their competition. So and you can help them stand apart from that fierce competition. And that's the biggest value you can bring, is helping them stand apart with great solutions, unique stories, explainer videos that are mind-blowing, and all that good stuff that you're going to learn in the intensive. So this is a great year for this.
Great. All right. Well, any more questions, you can either send them in, or you can ask them at the intensive, and you'll definitely get answers there. I love this. This was a fantastic use of this time. And again, hope everybody got a lot out of it, and looking forward to seeing what you do with your B2B careers. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, everyone.